I'm Finn. Last time you saw me in part 1, I was getting dragged into a too-perfect mansion, meeting my too-perfect new family, and realizing I might actually have to attend real school again. Now, I'm standing in a very expensive backyard, getting stared down by a woman who looks like she could snap her fingers and have me banished. You're Finn, right? What an impolite child. Don't you know how to greet someone? I don't know who you are. What gives? Before she can respond, the Lawrence burst into the garden, looking genuinely panicked.
Finn! Don't mess with her!
Turns out, this is Christine, the housekeeper/overlord of the Laurent estate. She's been here forever, practically raised Eve, and definitely thinks she runs this place. She eyes me like I'm a stain on her pristine world. This child needs discipline. Please do not fight, Christine. I like you alive. Fine. So, who actually owns this place then? After surviving the housekeeper from hell, I figured school couldn't be worse. Turns out, I was wrong. A group of girls, covered in fancy brands and way too much perfume, stood in a circle, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. She looks so ugly and dirty, but she was adopted by the Laurent family. I don't get it. I immediately nodded, completely unfazed. Exactly! You guys should be avoiding me like the plague, not crowding around me like this. The group exchanged confused glances. That was not the reaction they were expecting. Your brain is broken or something? You're being called ugly and dirty, and you agree with it? My expression darkened. Killer mode activated. I stepped closer, grabbing her collar, voice dropping into something dangerously calm. Hey, ugly and dirty is my style, but my brain, crystal clear. You want to know what broken really looks like? I raised my hand, about to slap some sense into her. Before I could make contact, a hand caught my wrist. Finn, stop! I turned, annoyed, but Eve wasn't looking at me. She was glaring at the girls. Everyone has their own style. Finn's is bold and creative. You guys just copy each other. The mean girl turned pale. I let go of her collar, grinning. Maybe Eve wasn't so bad after all. So, apparently, defending myself at school wasn't as big of a scandal as I thought, because when I got home, everyone acted like normal. No lectures, no disappointed looks, just warmth. And I wasn't used to that. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent treated me like I actually belonged. They were both artists. Mr. Laurent was even a painter, so they got it. My need to create, to express myself. Instead of telling me to stop vandalizing my own bedroom walls, Mr. Laurent actually complimented my work.
Nice color balance. Bold choice with the shading.
Mrs. Laurent never batted an eye at my ripped hoodies or messy hair. Instead, she helped me pick out clothes that I liked when we went shopping. Wear whatever makes you comfortable, Finn. It was weird. In a good way. Of course, there was one exception. Christine. She made it very clear that she wasn't part of the Welcome Finn committee. Since I was new, she took it upon herself to teach me the household rules. Except teaching meant criticizing everything I did. If it were Eve, she would have done better. Every single day. Did it annoy me? Absolutely. But I didn't let it get to me, mostly because of Eve. Eve always had my back. Eve always spoke well of Christine, saying how thoughtful, caring, and attentive she was. All that sentimental stuff I didn't quite see, but figured Eve believed in. One day, she suggested I try giving Christine a gift. Said she might actually soften up. She might be touched, Finn. It's worth a shot. I wasn't convinced, but whatever. I grabbed a box of red strawberry macarons and handed them to Christine. She frowned. I don't like mint-flavored ones. I blinked. Mint? I stared at her, confused. Strawberry macarons weren't mint, but I shrugged it off. Not worth the headache. Turns out, being adopted by world-famous artists doesn't get you into the advanced art class. Nope. I was stuck in basic art, drowning in lectures about art history. Why did I have to memorize every single art movement when I just wanted to paint? By break, I had given up. I sat at my desk, scrolling through graffiti videos on my phone, watching artists transform gray walls into masterpieces. That's real art. No boring textbooks, no rules, just raw expressions. That's when I heard them again. Ugh, graffiti? That's not art. It's just vandalism. It's trashy. Just like you. You'll never be a real artist. I saw red. Oh yeah? Well, let me show you some trashy art. I dipped the brush into bright blue paint and splattered it all over them. And just like that, chaos. A full-blown fight breaks out. Brushes fly, paint spills, desks knock over. Then...
Enough!
Soon enough, my parents were called. But instead of scolding me, Mr. and Mrs. Laurent just listened. Finn, we understand. But next time, maybe aim for a canvas instead of people. Mr. Michael, surprisingly, had my back too.
Finn, your passion is undeniable, but art should be your voice, not your weapon. Next time, come to me first.
It wasn't a total loss, but I wasn't in the mood for class anymore. So, time to find the rooftop. I wasn't expecting company, but there he was, Dylan. Well. Posh boy skipping class.
It's called strategic avoidance.
We talked. Turns out he wasn't as annoying as I thought. Before I knew it, Dylan and I clicked like we'd been best friends in another life. It was too easy. The constant banter, the dramatic eye rolls, the inside jokes about our ridiculously fancy school. I wasn't used to getting along with someone this fast. Then, in the middle of our usual nonsense, Dylan playfully nudged my shoulder. Oh, so that's how we're playing now? I half raised my hand, ready to shove him back, when I caught something out of the corner of my eye. Eve. She had been walking just a step behind us, but her usual smile was gone. Her fingers twisted the strap of her bag, her eyes flickering toward Dylan, then away, like she was trying not to look. You okay, Eve? What? Oh, yeah, totally!
She's probably wondering how she got stuck with the school's two biggest headaches.
I laughed. Eve did too, but hers was off. I didn't have time to think much about Eve acting weird, because the school just announced an art competition. At first, I didn't care. Competitions weren't my thing. But then, they started talking. Can you imagine Finn entering? She wouldn't even make it past the first round. She probably won't even try. Not when she has to compete against real artists. Okay, that was it. I pushed off my locker and walked straight up to them. You think I wouldn't? Well, graffiti isn't real art, you know? You'd be wasting your time. I almost laughed. So, art only mattered if it was made in a fancy studio with a tiny brush? Please! These girls acted like they got to decide what counted as a real art and what didn't. Too bad for them. I wasn't the type to back down. Fine, I'll enter, and I'll use graffiti in the competition. They laughed. And when you lose, maybe you'll finally admit graffiti isn't real art. I stepped even closer. No, because I'm going to win. And when I do, you'll have to admit graffiti is art. The hallway went quiet, and their smirks disappeared. Guess they didn't expect me to push back. I left school feeling invincible, ready to prove my point. This is gonna be easy. Graffiti is art. I'll show them. At least, that's what I thought. But as I started sketching, something felt off. The lines felt stiff, like I was forcing something that should flow naturally. My usual creativity was just gone. I kept trying, sketching, erasing, starting over, but nothing looked right. What is this? This isn't me. I ripped the page out and tossed it aside, doubt creeping in. For the first time, I wasn't sure I could pull this off. Doubt still clung to me as I headed to my usual spot, the graffiti wall, hoping fresh air would clear my head. Okay, why do you look like a sad rich boy in a soap opera? Dylan let out a long sigh, running a hand through his hair.
I think Eve likes me.
I froze mid-step. Huh?
I don't know what to do. I don't feel that way about her, but she's my friend, and I don't want to hurt her.
I didn't answer right away. Suddenly, all those weird moments with Eve made sense. The way she tensed up, the way she forced those awkward smiles, the way her eyes always flickered toward him when she thought no one was looking. And now I had no idea what to say. If I were in her shoes, wouldn't I be pissed? Wouldn't it suck to like someone who didn't feel the same way? But being me, I just shrugged. Maybe tell her before she explodes? Dylan let out a dry laugh, but there was something heavy behind it. Dylan's words still lingered in my head as I got home, but I barely had time to process them before I found out something new. Eve had also entered the competition. Guess we're rivals now. Let's keep it fair and square. I expected her to laugh, but instead, she nodded, completely serious. Agreed. We'll compete fairly, not just in this competition. Wait, not just in this competition? Was she talking about Dylan? I hadn't thought about it before, but the way she said it, so seriously, made it feel like she wasn't just talking about art anymore. A week went by, and all around me, other students were busy working on their competition pieces. Meanwhile, my canvas, still blank. For the first time, graffiti didn't feel like enough, and I hated that feeling. Then, one evening, Eve glanced at me over dinner. How's your piece coming along? I shrugged, forcing a smirk. Nothing yet. I work better last minute. Total lie. I was completely stuck. Lying about my progress didn't make my art block disappear. So, one night, I snuck into the Lawrence private art studio, hoping inspiration would finally hit me. Yeah, it didn't. Nothing came. No ideas, no spark, just emptiness. Before I could fully sink into frustration, a sharp voice cut through the silence.
What are you doing in here? Who let you in? What if you ruin the expensive supplies?
I rolled my eyes. Perfect. Just my luck. But before I could argue, Mr. Laurent walked in.
Christine, go get some rest. I'll handle this.
I waited for him to scold me, but instead, he set up his own easel and started painting. What? Rich people painting ritual at midnight?
It's about waiting until the art feels right.
What if I can't make something that proves graffiti is art?
Then stop trying to prove something. Paint something that screams you.
Something clicked. I grabbed a spray can, and for the first time in weeks, I finally painted. For the next few days, I put everything into my piece. Spray paint everywhere, bold colors mixing and clashing, with hidden words scattered in the background. This is art. Rules are stupid. Freedom. It wasn't perfect, but for the first time, it felt right. Meanwhile, Eve spent more and more time alone. She redid her piece over and over, staying up late, erasing, starting fresh. Some nights, I'd catch her in her room, exhausted, staring at a blank page. Christine always brought her late-night snacks, making sure she had the energy to keep going. She wanted this badly. I just didn't know how badly until everything fell apart. The whole school was buzzing. Eve's competition entry had vanished. She stood frozen in front of her open locker, eyes wide with shock. It was right here. I don't understand. She ran her hands over the inside of the locker, as if the missing artwork would magically reappear, but it didn't. Who would even steal it? This wasn't some dumb prank. This was weeks of work gone. Then came the whispers. Finn was at school late last night. Maybe she took it. Maybe she was scared she'd lose. I turned sharply. Are you kidding me? I could handle insults. I could handle people calling me reckless, wild, a troublemaker. But a thief? That was a different story. Ready to fire back. Then I noticed something. Eve. She wasn't saying anything. She wasn't jumping in to shut them down, to say they were wrong. She just hesitated. And that silence, that pissed me off more than their stupid rumors ever could.